We have updated FTD data. This is for NIO Stock, and this is your date and timestamp. This is December 30th. It is the early afternoon as I record this. Happy Monday to you. First, I want to direct your attention to the bottom of the screen. If you'll look at the ticker, I've got basically the three short-term indicators that I watch. Trade volume, which is the daily trade volume for NIO Stock, and then FTDs. This is delayed lagged data that we get. So as we get it, I do videos to cover it so that we can stay apprised as to what might be going on behind the scenes that we don't get to see real time with NIO Stock. The third is sentiment. I think that's the easiest for everyone to kind of recognize where things are. So let's now talk, and I'm actually going to start here, and there's a reason for this. The most recent earnings that NIO had was its best to date, and it was reported on November 20th of 2024. Now, I wanted to hone in and show you, zoom in with this data so you could see the yellow, which represents the stock price for NIO in the time frame from the day before the earnings. And this white line represents a spike on the FTD data. That's when there could have been naked shorting going on. There could have been suppression or manipulation of stock price. So we had an over 2.5 million spike on the day before the earnings. And of course, that was reported. So we don't necessarily know that it happened that day. But I thought it was interesting to note. Here's the more important thing that I'm thinking, though, is every one of these days through the 12th of December, which is the most recent date we have data from with the FTDs and the stock price, there was only one day where NIO Stock had over 100 million shares traded. And that was the day right here, where the stock price was at its high point in the very near term. Now, the stock price, its high point on that day was $5.36. The trade day preceding, before it made that move, the high was $4.71. And if we move out and look a little bit more on the big picture side of things, this is 1 year out with the data. The thing that really caught my attention here in this year of 2024 is a lot more of the FTDs, which could have represented naked shorting, price suppression, manipulation, that sort of thing. At the same time, when we had these big spikes, we saw the stock price drop. And so, this is just one of the things I'm monitoring in the short term. A lot of folks are concerned about short-term stock price action, or at least they seem to be frustrated with it. So I don't know why they wouldn't spend a little more time digging into things like this just to have more awareness. And that's the point, the reason that I want to share this. I hope I'm learning. I want to share some of this research with others. So this is the full history of NIO Stock. And if you'll note, again, I think a couple of factors were in play, and the short-term timeframes with respect to stock price still hold true. If we look at the time when NIO Stock made its biggest moves, we saw a drop-off, a significant drop-off of the FTDs being reported. At the same time, we had big trade volume on a lot of these days. Some of those days, and I remember seeing 80 to 100 million shares on almost every single day for the daily trade volume side of things, but often there would be hundreds of millions of shares. So, this is just stuff that I track and watch in the short term. This has been and continues to be a long-term play for me, but I think that we're mistaken to not at least have, pay some attention to some of these things. So anyway, because it's delayed lag data, that's one of the reasons when we get the updated data, I want to share it and try to keep others as, hopefully up to date as I am or as we can be. So on the retail side of things, good luck to us all. Have a great day or night. Whenever you see this, I'll be back with more content before you know it. I'll see y'all again very soon.